KendaScott.com and broadcasting live. You're watching News 6 at noon.
We begin this noon with two words: no tolls. A closer look at the idea floated by Governor DeSantis that could bring big changes along Central Florida's busiest roads. And later, an Orlando firefighter placed in handcuffs, what he's accused of doing while investigators say he was going through a breakup. But first, breaking news: a 6-year-old is in critical condition after he was hit by an SUV in Horizon West. This happened last night on Reams Road just before Legato Drive, but Florida Highway Patrol is just sharing information about what happened. They say the boy was walking in the road right in the path of the SUV and the driver could not avoid him. The boy was rushed to Arnold Palmer Hospital, where again he is in critical condition. The driver of the SUV did stay at the scene. To Lake County now, where there has been a major shakeup in a horrific child abuse case. A mother facing charges in the death of her own 10-year-old son wants to change her not guilty plea. News 6's Mark Lehman is walking us through what's next in this case.
It's been 5 months since a grand jury indicted Kimberly Mills and her boyfriend Andre Walker for murder. Both faced the death penalty, but that could change with this new filing. The mother of 10-year-old Xavier Williams is planning to change her plea. That's according to paperwork from the public defender this week. The filing doesn't explain the details, but by switching her plea from not guilty, Kimberly Mills could avoid the death penalty. Mills and her boyfriend Andre Walker were charged with murder in the death of Xavier. Tavares police have called it one of the worst cases of child abuse they've ever seen.
What Xavier went through the night of is just egregious, horrendous. And our hearts go out to him and his family.
According to investigators, Mills and Walker used a ladder, 10-pound weight, and duct tape to torture Xavier and his younger brother. The couple took Xavier to the hospital where he died.
Xavier deserved to grow up. And while we can never undo the harm that was done, we can honor his life by standing up for children who cannot stand up for themselves.
Court filings revealed Mills told investigators they punished Xavier for stealing from a gas station and trying to open credit cards in other people's names. The change of plea hearing and sentencing for Mills is scheduled for January 14th. At this point, it's unclear what agreement has been worked out and if Mills plans to testify against her boyfriend in this case. We'll keep you updated with what we learn. Mark Lehman, News 6.
An Orlando firefighter arrested for the second time in just 2 years, and this time he's accused of stalking a woman. 47-year-old Lateef Williams was arrested earlier this week in Cocoa. According to police, he was in the middle of a breakup with his girlfriend, but kept showing up to her job. Investigators say he left multiple notes on her car and even admitted that he installed a tracking device on her car without her knowledge. That picture you see of Williams, that's from another arrest in 2023 when he was accused of holding a knife to a coworker's throat while they were joking around at the firehouse. He was charged with battery, but that case was later dismissed. In a statement, the fire department says, in part, quote, "We took this arrest very seriously and as is our practice, initiated an immediate internal investigation. The firefighter involved has been placed on leave without pay pending the outcome of the investigation." You can read the full statement at clickorlando.com. After hours of lane closures, I-4 near the exit for the Turnpike is back open this afternoon. FHP tells us an SUV and motorcycle collided in the eastbound lanes around 3 o'clock this morning. DOT cameras show crews on the scene past 7:30 this morning, and the SUV being towed away with what appears to be severe damage to the back of it. The motorcycle rider was taken to the hospital in critical condition. When we get more information about what happened, we will let you know. Time now is 12:04, so time to get a check of our forecast with Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos, and we have seen a few isolated showers out there.
Right, and they're going to continue to brush parts of the coastline, so we are going to keep the cloud cover in place, as well as a couple more of the scattered showers throughout the next couple of hours. You can see here right now throughout areas of New Smyrna, Port Orange, just very fast-moving scattered showers, clipping parts of Sanford, Deltona, even Orange City at this point in time. Some of those heavier bands pushing a little further inland than earlier this morning, and then another scattered downpour or so just north of Titusville continue to move into Oak Hill in the next couple minutes, and central and southern Brevard County looking mostly dry. But we are going to continue to watch more of that moisture fueling parts of central Florida with more scattered showers, especially into the evening hours, all ahead of our next cold front. We'll have more details on the slight changes and a look, of course, at your weekend and holiday forecast coming up in minutes.
Candace, thank you. New at noon, a push to make Florida's Agency for Fiscal Oversight part of state law. law. Chief Financial Officer Blaise Ngoulia was in Winter Park touting the proposal he says will protect taxpayers. News 6's Mark Lehman is back with the details on the announcement.
Florida CFO saying this legislation is important to hold local governments accountable for their spending, and if passed, it would protect taxpayers on a long-term basis. Chief Financial Officer Blaise Ngoulia meeting in Winter Park on Thursday to announce a plan to introduce legislation that would establish the Florida Agency for Fiscal Oversight in state law. It comes after Ngoulia says he found $1.86 billion in wasteful and excessive spending from 11 local governments this year. The legislation would require local governments to submit an annual financial efficiency report, grants whistleblower protection for reports of wasteful spending, and obligates local governments to make contracts publicly available online. This is happening after there's been pushback from these state audits, with some saying they lack context and there were factors the CFO overlooked. And Ngoulia saying this push is all about transparency.
This issue of overspending and overtaxation is not going away. Government grows when people stop watching. Government grows when bureaucrats and elected officials stop caring.
Also included in the legislation, it would codify the ability of the CFO to recommend the removal of an elected official who is found to have committed financial abuse, and local governments would be required to identify at least 10% in reductions they could make from current budgets. Now, all of this would have to go through committees and a months-long process before it would become state law. The legislative session for Florida begins January 13th. In Winter Park, Mark Lehman, News 6.
Here is a live look over the White House, where hours ago the president addressed the nation in a primetime speech. In it, he touted his accomplishments and outlined his goals for the next 3 years. The president also announced end-of-the-year bonuses worth $1,176 for nearly 1.5 million military service members. Olivia Rinaldi reports from the White House.
Now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world.
In a speech to the nation Wednesday night, President Trump highlighted his achievements since returning to office.
We inherited the worst border anywhere in the world, and we quickly turned it into the strongest border in the history of our country.
The president painted a rosy picture of the U.S. economy under his leadership.
We're poised for an economic boom, the likes of which the world has never seen.
The president's remarks came ahead of new data Thursday that showed the Consumer Price Index rose just 2.7% in November, indicating that inflation is easing.
I am bringing those high prices down and bringing them down very fast.
But the latest CBS News polling finds a majority of people, 76%, say their income is not keeping up with inflation. President Trump also addressed rising health care costs as those tax credits from the Affordable Care Act are set to expire at the end of this year, raising health care premiums for millions of Americans. Mr. Trump didn't offer a specific health care framework, but said health care subsidies should go to Americans and not insurers.
I want the money to go directly to the people so you can buy your own health care. You'll get much better health care at a much lower price.
As affordability remains a major issue ahead of next year's midterms, the president promised to unveil aggressive housing reform in the new year. Olivia Rinaldi, CBS News, the White House.
Today in Volusia County, the man accused of stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars from some local high school students will land in Daytona Beach. Robert Goodwin is being extradited from California, where he was arrested last week on grand theft and fraud charges. Goodwin is accused of collecting around $400,000 from a group for a class trip to Italy 1 month before they were set to take off last year. Investigators say Goodwin's travel agency shut down and no one was given a refund. Goodwin is set to land at Daytona Beach International just before 6 o'clock tonight. Volusia County Sheriff Mike Chitwood is inviting anyone who lost money to this guy to greet him when he arrives. Okay, if you can believe it, we are talking about yet another rollover for Powerball. No one matched all the numbers in last night's jackpot, so that means Saturday night, an estimated $1.5 billion will be up for grabs, or if you take the lump sum, $686 million. That's a great Christmas present, and that is the 5th largest in the game's history. So we want you to take another look at last night's numbers, because even though there was no jackpot winner, there are still some smaller prizes up for grabs. again. The next drawing is Saturday night. And remember, the only place to see that drawing is right here during News 6 at 11. Good luck. A new proposal to save Florida drivers some money could lead to big changes along the 408. Plus, if you are a current or former AT&T customer, time is running out for you to get a piece of a $177 million class action suit. Who's eligible and how to file a claim? Here's a live look from our Mount Dora camera. Looking so lovely on this Thursday. You're watching News 6 at noon. We'll be right back.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Florida Lottery.
We're following some breaking news out of North Carolina. We're learning multiple people have died in a plane crash this morning. That crash happened around 10:20 at Statesville Regional Airport. That is about 40 miles north of Charlotte. We are working to learn just how many people died and how many people were on the plane. The FAA and NTSB are investigating the crash right now. You're looking at video there, obviously a fluid situation with reporters there on the scene gathering information. Once again, once we learn more about that crash, we will bring you those updates.
I'm your community correspondent, Angie Casada, and we're along the State Road 408. And if you drive this stretch every day, then you know firsthand how those tolls add up. And that's exactly what the governor was talking about earlier this week. During a cabinet meeting, Governor Ron DeSantis floated the idea of eventually getting rid of tolls for Florida residents altogether, while still charging out-of-state visitors. He says it may be time to give Floridians a break after paying into these roads for decades. At a cabinet meeting Wednesday, Governor Ron DeSantis raised a new idea, eliminating tolls for Florida residents.
You know, I'd love to be able to knock out, you know, the tolls and stuff that people are paying. Well, you could charge the visitors and they could probably support it all and give our Florida residents a break. I think that would be really good.
The governor questioned how long Floridians should keep paying tolls, pointing out that some have been in place for decades. There are roughly 700 miles of toll roads across Florida, with Orange County leading the state at more than 150 miles. According to Florida's turnpike system, toll revenues reached about $1.3 billion last fiscal year, while upkeep costs were far lower, though billions in bonded debt remain. This isn't the first time DeSantis has pushed toll relief. The governor previously signed legislation offering drivers 50% credits if they use toll roads frequently. That program alone delivered about $500 million in savings to more than 1.2 million Florida commuters. The governor's comments also come as he pushes for a major reduction in property taxes, signaling a broader effort to lower everyday costs for residents. Now, this is still just an idea. No formal proposal has been made, and the governor acknowledged, of course, other agencies would need to weigh in. State bond finance officials say that they'll look at whether this is even feasible, but for now, drivers will continue paying tolls, and the conversation about who pays and how much at least is gaining some traction. Reporting along the 408, I'm Angie Casada, News 6.
Time now is 12:16. We are heading into a big holiday weekend and holiday week, so that forecast, very important. Candace, we are tracking some showers out there, but things will improve as we move through the next few days.
Right. Right now, we're almost kind of a squeeze play between scattered showers still lingering from an old disturbance out over the Atlantic and then out over the Gulf. We're also watching the approach of plenty of moisture kind of associated, still well ahead of our next approaching cold front. So for the next couple of hours, most of the rain on the east side will be coming in from the Atlantic, but then throughout the overnight tonight, most of that will start moving in from the Gulf. So again, it's a combination of the two areas. So right now, let's kind of zoom in, give you an idea of what's going on right now in parts of Flagler, Volusia County. You can see some scattered showers across inland Volusia. Oak Hill right now seeing the heaviest of the rain, some heavier downpours right now getting picked up just south into the Shiloh area as well. We'll continue to track northward over the next couple minutes. And then you can see just very light scattered showers, a little heavier at times over Kissimmee and Campbell has weakened and kind of fallen apart. But again, those fast moving showers certainly will be a possibility over the next couple of hours. So don't be surprised if you do get caught under some of it. Other than right along the coastline, most of the rain at this point should be very light. Could pick up in intensity a bit late tonight, early Friday morning. Can't even rule out the chance of an isolated thunderstorm in the mix, all as that cold front comes through. So you're hearing me use the word cold front. It's not really going to be cooling us down much. We are going to continue to stay above average, although we will start to see more sunshine. That front expected to really kind of clear out our skies a little bit with no real big changes in the forecast. Looking at a pretty stereotypical Florida Christmas on tap as we head into next week. So kind of showing you the clouds of rain futurecast. You can see the models are picking up just some of that light rain. The clouds will stick around throughout the majority of the day. And then you can see that as we head into about the midnight hour on Friday morning, you can see some scattered showers approaching our northern zones. Some of it developing early tomorrow morning. We, of course, will be pinpointing that throughout the early morning show tomorrow. And then you can see that cold front finally clears by tomorrow afternoon. The skies will do the same behind it. And then we'll start to really see more sunshine Saturday, Sunday, and into early next week. So as we take you here throughout the next few hours, right now we're in those mid to upper 70s, already 81 in Titusville. But now let's check on that hour-by-hour forecast for your Thursday.
Your forecast is sponsored by Strata Services.
Highs today nearing 80 degrees, but notice rain chances do trend further up throughout the overnight, with our overnight lows still on the very mild side. We'll be all into those mid 60s, but we're going to continue to keep those temperatures above average both Saturday and Sunday. And it's going to be above average over the next couple of days, not only for us here in Florida, but across the entire country, with just kind of the northeastern portions really the only ones getting in on some nice fresh snow. Pretty much kind of the northern half of the country could see a white Christmas. Locally here, it's going to be in those 70s, upper 70s, so looking mostly dry. A nice mild start for Christmas morning. And it looks like certainly as winter begins on Sunday, we will be starting off the season kind of on a warm note. Julie.
Sounds good. Candace, thank you. Time is running out to file a claim in a multi-million-dollar settlement against AT&T. A closer look at how to apply. Plus, President Trump set to sign an executive order pertaining to marijuana. And coming up on News 6 at 6.
During the 43-day government shutdown, many members of Congress suggested it was unfair they were still getting paid while others were not. Coming up, we'll show you what Central Florida lawmakers ultimately did with their paychecks after the government reopened.
Moments ago, Blue Origin announced it is standing down from its crewed launch from West Texas. The company's New Shepard rocket was set to send 6 people, including a woman who uses a wheelchair, to the edge of space. Liftoff was set for 11 a.m. our time. No word on what caused the scrub, but early on in preparations, the company was concerned about upper-level winds. We'll let you know when a new launch date is set. New at noon, President Trump is reportedly set to ease restrictions on marijuana. According to a senior White House official, the president will sign an executive order to reclassify marijuana from a Schedule I drug to a Schedule III. That means it will be considered less addictive. The move would loosen federal restrictions, but this is important here. It does not mean full legalization. Mr. Trump is expected to sign the executive order today. We will let you know when that happens. The deadline is today for current and former AT&T customers to apply for a piece of a $177 million class action settlement. It's tied to 2 massive nationwide data breaches announced in 2024. The 2 attacks impacted more than 180 million accounts. Again, that deadline to file a claim is today. So if you had both your account information and your data exposed and you were the victim of identity theft or fraud, you could receive a settlement of up to $7,500. We have a list of steps on how to get started. Just head to clickorlando.com and you'll find this story on the homepage. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, tracking a few isolated showers out there today.
A couple scattered showers off and on throughout the day. It's not enough to carry your rain gear with you. It's not going to last that long. It's a quick windshield wiper too. But do expect maybe a little more coverage in the forecast later on into the evening on Thursday, early Friday morning. Meteorologist Julie Braun will be in for me because I'll be on vacation. Merry Christmas.
Send all the pet photos.
Yes, please do. But it does look like we are going to be warming things up. A pretty typical, stereotypical, I should say, Florida Christmas is on tap. Highs in the upper 70s next Thursday.
Fabulous. All right. And winter officially arrives for us on Sunday. It's not going to feel like it.
No, not at all.
Thanks so much for joining us this noon. Our next newscast is at 4, and you can always check clickorlando.com for any updates. Have a great day. Have a great vacation.
Merry Christmas,
Merry Christmas.